Oyster fishermen are alarmed at what they're finding in Elwha Bay, an area that once again is open to fishing. This afternoon they showed us the disturbing state of oysters from beds that once provided their livelihoods. Liz Reyes has that story.
Well, the private oyster grounds we visited is about a 45-minute boat ride southeast of Wyclowski. And the fishermen we spoke to say state officials need to re-examine some of these grounds which have officially been reopened.
See the blackness in there? That's not normal.
Black-brown slime is what Corky Robin is finding on oysters dredged from waters in Elwha Bay. That's southeast of Wyclowski. These are waters which have provided oysters for his family's seafood business for almost 70 years.
It could be oil. It's a mixture of oil. It's probably a mixture of oil and dispersant and whatever.
The oysters are from a private oyster ground now reopened for commercial fishing. The state says safety tests show there's no problem here. But these veterans have their doubts, and they say it's not just here.
Pretty much everywhere we've been, everywhere we checked, same thing.
What also really concerns them is what they're not seeing when they take a closer look at these oyster shells. Usually this time of year they are full of little baby oysters. Instead they're finding empty shells like this and this one, which means the babies have died, and that, they say, does not bode well for the future of this industry.
And without the small oysters, there's no future for this industry. Because once you catch this oyster, it's all over with, because you don't have no small ones to come behind it.
He believes a slimy coating is preventing baby oysters from attaching and staying alive on the shells. Right now, Louisiana oyster reefs are comprised of private and public ones. The public grounds are controlled by the state and remain shut down. But close to 40% of the private grounds are now open, like this section owned by Nick Zarak. But he says given the conditions of the oysters, he will not sell these.
But I'm scared because all this black stuff on oysters, I'm scared to sell them.
That uncertainty over what is on the oysters and what may have penetrated them that has these fishermen against commercial fishing of oysters until they get more answers on the potential harm of eating these.
The first person that gets sick from eating an oyster, it's all over for the people in the oyster business.
An uncertain future, says his older brother Doogie, who helped start the family's Robin seafood business in 1947. He says Katrina was far easier to rebound from than this.
And it looks like there's no more future for it. Where do we go from here? This is our livelihood, that's all we know.
A scary situation they say they're finding hard to come to terms with, the more they're faced with oysters like these, giving them a picture of a possible bleak future. And state wildlife officials maintain any area reopened underwent a series of safety tests before, and nothing came up negative. They say they don't know the long-term implications of the oil spill, but they encourage fishermen to report if they see anything unusual to the State Wildlife and Fisheries Department.